All right, everyone say hi, YouTube. All right, guys, let's get into this collective. This is a normal volume collective today. Ooh, Ace of Wands wanted to fall out? Okay, let's see. Let's see. Let's see what's going on for you guys. I love the disclaimer, Lily. Thank you. Okay, King of Wands? What is this? Ace of Wands, King of Wands. Are y'all feeling H-word? This is, okay, this is turning into an H-word reading. What is this? This is an odd one. Oh. That's so funny, Lily. That today of all days, that's how the day it's coming through. Okay, this is a weird one, but let's dive into it. Can I get the last card, please? Please. Thank you. Like, why my guides make me shuffle for 8 hours knowing I have carpal tunnel is beyond me, but okay. Ooh, okay. You know when the tag of, like, your shirt, like, rubs you a little bit, and then you have, like, an autistic meltdown? That just happened to me in my brain. Okay. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Some of you maybe feel like, some of you could be, like, really overstimulated recently, or, like, just in general, you might be feeling a little bit overstimulated with everything going on in your life. Because, like, as I'm trying to, like, focus in on the reading, like, my tag bothered me, and then I'm having trouble regulating temperature. So, like, overstimulation could definitely be for some of you right now. I feel like what's coming through right away, this doesn't even have to do with the reading. I feel like, a lot of you guys need to slow down. Okay, so I feel like for a lot of you, the overstimulation is coming from the fact that you're just kind of like, going and going and going, and there's like no sense of like there's like no sense of respite, you know? So just be careful with that, you know? Okay? Sit with yourselves a little bit. Calm your world down a little bit. Oh, Carrie's here. Hi, Carrie. But okay, let's get into this. Bottom of the deck is your challenge. Let's talk about it. Oh, God. Knight of Wands, Six of Swords, Seven of Swords. Y'all really out here doing some Woman of the Night behaviors. Truly. Truly. It feels like for a lot of you guys, your challenge here is almost like a... This is such a funny challenge. I don't know why this is coming through in the collective, but you know when you go on a date and like the date is good and you're like, okay, like I could give it up on the first date. That's kind of like the challenge here. I feel like for a lot of you, you're in this place of like, okay, like, well, nothing I seem to be doing is working. So what if I do kind of just like go and live my little like floozy fantasy here? That's how this is coming across. It's very like interesting to show up in a collective, but let's dive in. Let's talk about it. You start with the Seven of Pentacles and the King of Wands. So I feel like for some of you guys, you may have been like, the way I'm picking this up is like lacking attraction for a while. Like there could have been a long period in your life where you're like, well, I'm not really attracted to anyone. And I feel like for those of you that did deal with this period of time where you weren't really feeling attraction of any sort to anyone, the way my guides are giving this to me is like something about you was changing. You know, it's like there was this, what is this? This is a weird reading, guys. This could maybe be like have to do with your sexuality or gender for some of you, because it's like you're realizing you had to take time to realize that like what you thought you wanted basically wasn't what you wanted. And it feels like with that King of Wands here, like some of you went through sort of this like dry spell so that you could get back out into the field and discern like, okay, this is what I do want versus this is what I don't want. Because you've got the Knight of Swords and the Two of Swords. So it almost feels like some of you, that's really funny how I just heard it. If I can't beat them, join them. It feels like some of you are like, okay, like if I can't beat the floozies, like if I can't find true love, then I'm going to join it and I'm going to become a floozy myself. I feel like the way that this is coming through is interesting because it does feel like whoever I'm talking to here, there's some shame that I feel like all of you guys should deconstruct. There's no shame in asking for what it is that we want or going out and doing things for ourselves that we want to do, as long as we are being like safe and healthy about it. You know, this feels like I don't know. This is a weird, like, it just feels like shame for a lot of people. Whoever's dealing with this, or like whoever is like struggling to, even for those of you that are in connection, I'm hearing like that do have a partner, like there's a struggle to ask for what we want here. I am overheating like a lot right now during this reading, so I definitely feel like we're talking about what we're talking about for a reason. It is about like advocating for yourself, yes, but it's also about like not feeling bad about asking for what you want. The Tower. Okay, interesting. And the Five of Cups. Yeah, this is literally what I was saying. The Tower's clarifying the King of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. A lot of you, the chrysalis time that you went through so that you could come out on the other side, this is that come out moment. You know, this is kind of like where you're breaking through the chrysalis and being like, okay, well, I've decided this is what I want. Or like, this is my next option. This is what I'm going to do after this. And I feel like, okay, this is really specific. I don't want to tell someone this. How do I say this? If you don't have a sinus infection, it feels like someone has a sinus infection coming in. I don't know. There is no other way to say that. I know that we don't want to look forward to a sinus infection, but like I'm getting pressure like all around here for me. Like I all of a sudden I just got like really pressure and like very full in here, which is like sinuses for me. Take your allergy medication, girlies, okay? And definitely rest. Some of you have a sickness coming in, okay? But on your Five of Cups here, it does feel like, again, it's a lot of that energy of like, okay, if it didn't work in the past, I gotta try something different. And so it almost feels like some of you may be thinking, okay, well, if I engage in a certain type of activity right away, who knows, maybe it'll turn out a little different. You know, there's this feeling here of just kind of winging it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. And I feel like you should wing it a little bit here. I know this is like a weird reading. You're like tarot readers telling you to go out and be a floozy, but like, that's how this is like kind of coming across today, guys. Like, I feel like some of you need to change your approach here. Oh my God, I'm sweating. I'm telling y'all, someone's having a hot flash right now. Because in your clarifying, where you've got the Six of Pentacles and the Fool, this is almost like a feeling of, okay, well, if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me. So what? I go back to the drawing board. I feel like some of you guys are so scared of the way my guides are giving this to me is like invisible consequences. You know, like, and that we're not talking about consequences of like, oh, I could get an STD, an STI, I could get sick. You know, this is like invisible consequences of like, oh, well, like, what would my mom think about this? And it's like, babe, why would we tell her? You know what I mean? I feel like some of you guys, my guides are clarifying it as well. This is less a physical consequence and more of like a moral consequence. Like some of you have moral hangups with this, like feeling like, again, it goes back to what I was telling before, like this feeling of shame, this feeling of like, all these things that kind of bubble up in you when you're like, oh, well, I will go on a first date and blah, 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 you know, whatever. But it feels like, I just feel like this is something you should try. I don't know how else to say that to you guys. Obviously, this is a very specific reading. So if you are not sitting around thinking about this, I would say this reading probably will not be for you. But for those of us that are like, okay, maybe I should get back out on the scene and get back out on the town and spin my wheels a little bit and like get myself out there, I feel like this is a really big yes. You know, I really feel like the Magician, like, manifest what you want, babe, but also try different, you know, there is such a thing as sex magic. You know, this is a very 18 plus reading, by the way. Okay. If you're not 18, click away. I know halfway through the reading, but it feels like with the Magician here, like some of you guys need to start using, why do you want me to say it like that? Using your juju better than how you are using it. Okay, that's a few. Yeah, and that's specifically for those of us that are single. Okay, Wheel of Fortune, Nine of Pentacles. Those of you that are not in a relationship, I don't feel like, I'm not telling you to go out. Excuse me, those of you that are in a relationship, and I'm not telling you to go out and like fling it around town if you have someone at home. Okay, that's not what I'm saying here. But for those of us that like are single Pringles, this feels more so like a singles reading. I'm going to be honest here. Queen of Cups, High Priestess, Temperance. For those of you, okay, now my guides are like giving me. For those of you that are in a relationship here, use your fucking voice. There is no easy way to say that. Like, there is no, I'm not going to coddle you here. Open up. Start talking. Okay, this is like, this is definitely Helen giving this to me. This is very harsh to say. A repeated thought that you keep thinking but won't say is a waste of time. Okay, so a lot of you guys that are in relationship, and again, this is where shame kind of hits all of us. This is not just for singles, you know, it hits all of us because some of you have trouble asking for what you want. Babe, like, we don't have to be like, this is definitely, again, this is Helen, so funny. This is not 1930. Okay, you don't have to be prim and proper. You can advocate for what you want here, okay? Seven of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. Work a little bit harder for an outcome that you desire, okay? If the way my guides want me to say this also is like, it's a little harsh too. If an important part of your relationship is missing, it's your responsibility to bridge it. Okay? As much as we want to say looks don't matter, looks in fact do matter. You know, physical attraction matters, mutual attraction, you know, this sort of like adult time in a relationship outside of those of us that are asexual, it's going to matter. You know, and it's like for those of you that are missing this or you're not feeling fulfilled by it in your relationship, need to start speaking up, need to start opening your mouth and talking about it. Helen is so foul. She just said to me, she's like, I never thought I'd be giving people half my age advice on how to get laid. And you know what, Helen? There's a time and place for everything. Wow, yeah, Hanged Man, Three of Wands, Emperor. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Okay, it feels like... I just want to know... Okay, this is like more for the... Wait. Oh, I was going to ask, but Helen was like, look at the bottom. I was going to ask, like, for those of you that are in a relationship, like, why are we not advocating? Like, why are we not speaking up? It's our good old friend. Abandonment issues. For some reason here, some of you guys also, hold on, say it again. Helen is saying you need to spend a little less time judging yourself and like attacking yourself again from a moral standpoint and spend a little bit more time asking for what you want. Okay. This is not like, Helen is so funny because she's like, this is not an abstract thing. You know, if you want to go, let's say I want to go to Red Lobster and I have a partner, I'm like, hey, partner, do you want to go to Red Lobster tonight? That's a very easy question. I'm expressing my needs. I'm expressing a want. It is literally just that, you know? Like, for those of you that are in relations, you have to start hey, partner, like, I'd love to have some alone time this weekend. I'd love to go away, just the two of us. You know, I feel like for some of you guys, like, again, there's a lot of, for some of you have like religious trauma that you have to unpack here because there's shame involved. There's so much shame for no reason. Like, this is the way Helen is saying this with the Emperor coming out. She wants me to remind you guys that, like, I'm just going to say this very bluntly how she's saying it. Sex is not something to only be initiated by a man. It's weird. I'm telling you, you guys have like, there's a lot of shame here to unpack for some of you because like, I'm struggling to even say sex right now. And that's like, that's how deep it feels like some of your shame is going. And I feel like a lot of you guys need to start, not a lot of you, but those of us that are in relation need to start advocating about this and talking about this because otherwise you're getting nowhere. Do you have any final thoughts, Helen? Nine of Swords. Helen just said to me, she's like, and what's the worst thing that happens? You get your answer. I'm going to say that again. What's the worst thing that happens? You get the answer. You get an answer you don't want. So then you know your next move. Okay, for those of you, like I said, that are in relation, you gotta, I mean, like the worst thing that happens here is your partner and you talk, you know, you explore, you know, this is like a lot of you think you're going to ask for something. Your partner's going to be like, oh, actually, I want to leave you. Huh? Not happening. But Helen is bringing up a good point. She's like, even if it did, at least you spoke your truth. At least you know now. All right, let's get you an oracle card. Can I get an oracle card, Ms. Helen? Thank you. Oh, she gave me two. Interesting. Funny. Okay. First one is, again, I always butcher this name, Penemu? Penemu? I don't know. Angel of Script. Penemu. $51. Okay. When considering death, we cannot help but also consider our legacy. But the words written on your tombstone are not yours to write and not for you to read. Let this card be a sign that you should relinquish your desire to control how you will be remembered. Your purpose in life happens now, not at some future date. Seek to appreciate the moment you are in now instead of wasting your efforts building a bulwark to defend the inevitable encroachment of time. Interesting. This to me feels like it goes back to that fear of judgment again, you know? And the other one you got, which I think is interesting, is Samyaza, Angel of Pride. Why Pride? Why are we talking about Pride, babes? He's number 19, so he's the first card, actually. Blessed. Okay. When this card is revealed, consider the ways in which you have control over your own dominion and mastery. You have the power to give labels to the features of your life, and with that comes the power to influence those objects, places, relationships, and other aspects of your world. It may be valuable to consider whether that power is wielded responsibly or with selfish intent. All right, girlies, this was not the reading I was expecting. Sounds like everyone has to start doing some new things. We need to start speaking up, advocating for ourselves, asking for what we want. And some of you guys, after a long period of stagnancy, have to get back out there on the town, okay? Learn to ask for what you want and I'm begging you to start deconstructing the shame that you have around your sexuality here, okay? That's what I have for you guys. I will leave it there. As always, if you're watching this on YouTube, consider liking and subscribing. I would love to see you. If you're watching this on YouTube, I would love to see you one day over here on the Twitch community. But if not, it's okay. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.